This is a really short video, and yes, this time it's actually a really short video because it's not really content, it's just a warning about. There's this part about renegotiating the relationship between men and women, which I consider to be a pretty purple pill thing. But anyway, it's not a criticism or anything. What I'm doing is just giving a warning. I don't remember which month last year, but there was a video by Uncle Mugtao where he talked about the topic of dating contracts. And I remember that he consulted with lawyers, with people who are involved in the legal field. Good video, great content, but here's the thing. This week I found out that there is already legal precedent in Brazil of judges overruling prenuptial agreements between couples. So, to sum up, let's go. The marriage regimes, partial sharing, total separation of assets, these are legal frameworks that were defined by the state, established within the state. In short, they were recognized by the state. However, the state itself, through judges who don't respect the law, who don't respect the Constitution, have overruled them. In short, a legal tool that was developed within the state was not respected by the state. They overrode it. It no longer has validity, and a precedent has already been set. So, what do you think is going to happen with a dating contract? Which is something that was created outside the state without even receiving the state's approval. Well, just think, if something that was created within the state, a judge easily overrode it. Just imagine how much easier it will be for him to override something that was created outside the state. So the two warnings I want to leave in this video are the very first point to consider. You absolutely should not fall for this misleading narrative about total separation or the concept of partial separation of assets. If your wife decides to file a formal complaint with the state authorities, and if she gets a judge, some really activist lawyers, and starts claiming, of course she will, that she can't support herself, that she needs her ex-husband's money, she's going to win. There are already precedents. They can easily override it. As for the dating contract, they can override that even more easily. So it's no use. The whole point of the dating contract, the main security was for the case where you live together with the woman, right? But it doesn't matter, man. You're going to end up in a common law marriage one way or another. There's no escape. You just can't live with a woman these days. And to wrap up a bit about this topic, I understand when a guy is still a bit purple-pilled, he's not willing to say no. And to really give up on women, not just talking the talk, but actually walking the walk. The guy isn't just talking, he's actually following through. The guy who's still kind of stuck, trying to renegotiate things, isn't willing to go his own way. He'll try to find some tool, he'll try to find some cheat, some Game Shark code, something to protect himself. He'll try to renegotiate somehow because he's not willing to accept reality. That no, man, right now, it's not possible to have any kind of relationship or commitment with a woman. But anyway, the main point is that now is not the time to renegotiate. Look, we're still living in a feminist state, a gynocentric state, with an absurd level of socialism, a welfare state that hasn't collapsed yet. And as long as this welfare state doesn't undergo reform or collapse, as long as the state doesn't abandon women, also through reforms, there's no way to renegotiate. This is basically the art of war. You don't negotiate when you're facing someone who's above you, who has more power than you do. You only negotiate with someone who is on the same level of power as you, or someone who is at a lower level of power than you. So right now, it's not the time to renegotiate the social contract between the sexes. That day will come, but no one knows how long it will take. Maybe it will happen in 10 or 20 years, but at least we're just following along in the world. We're not at the forefront. So we can keep an eye on, for example, North America, Europe, and so on. With that, we can have an idea of when the time for this renegotiation will come. But in the end, don't fall for the idea that total separation, partial separation, or a dating contract, it's not something that's going to protect you. It won't. We're in the trenches of non-cohabitation. Right now, any kind of relationship with a woman, we simply can't cohabit under any circumstances. It might get to a point in the coming years or maybe even months where you can't even date a woman anymore. Then we'll see what happens. But we're not there yet. But for now, the non-cohabitation trench is still safe. The thing is, you shouldn't just leave it, and you must not fall for the trap of these tools, which might end up not protecting you at all in the long run.